Well, just in case you need one that is more like church appropriate, that you can like take
church.
home to mom.
Christians under New Testament is entirely church appropriate.
That is, yeah, we're Christians under New Testament, or cunt for short, so we're team cunt.
Okay. I dig it.
There you go.
What would Jesus do? All right. So, the title of this video is Flat Earth Globe Model Does Not Work in Reality. Now, I'm going to let you explain to me what that means. The Flat Earth Globe Model.
The Flat Earth Globe... something's fucked up in there somewhere. I can't put my finger on it.
But actually...
the first two words.
He's depicting it on the screen right now. That is the Flat Earth Globe Model.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me hold on. Let me make sure I get it right.
In this video, I will be offering absolute proof we could not possibly live on a globe 8,000 miles in diameter and spinning at 1,000 miles an hour at the equator, with a moon orbiting around the Earth about 29 days each.
He's got cool graphics.
With the Earth and the moon revolving around a central sun about every 12 months. To say it does defies all the laws of reason, logic, reality, and I will point this out very, very clearly. I will be demonstrating that with a spinning globe model, there could never be a complete full moon.
Kyle, get this douchebag on the show and invite me.
Oh, I've reached out to him. And if you haven't seen my comment yet, Flat Earth News, he's got to be new because he's putting out like all of these videos with these like really well done graphics. I mean, I don't know if he's getting the graphics from somewhere or whatever, but he's only got like 23 subscribers. So I mean, he can't be that new. Or I mean,
I will promote the shit out of it. Just get his ass on here. All right, let's do it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Shit, I clicked the wrong. I clicked the wrong screen.
But by the way, at this, what he's showing here, and he's wondering, well, how does it work? Well, see, here's the thing: scale fucking matters. If you're looking at a representation that is not to scale to simply display a concept, yes, a simpleton will think, well, that's fucking wrong.
Yeah.
No shit, because you cannot on a reasonably accessible commercial computer monitor accurately show the correct scale from the sun to the Earth.
I mean, look at this shit. Like, there's no way where that
always going to be
the sun
on the same x-axis, which doesn't take into account any kind of elliptical orbit around the Earth. He doesn't understand quite a few concepts. It looks like.
Okay, let's see.
It wouldn't work if that was the size of the sun to the Earth.
Hell no.
Or inclination of the moon's orbit. If the moon orbited in the same plane as the ecliptic, Earth's orbital plane, we would have 2 eclipses every month. There'd be an eclipse of the moon at every full moon.
Bullshit.
And 2 weeks later, there'd be an
Pause it.
Okay.
He said if the moon orbited on the same ecliptic that the Earth orbited the sun, well, then I guess it's a good thing it doesn't.
Yeah, it fucking doesn't.
Is he making the assumption that it does, or does he think that's actually what scientists think that it does? I'm confused here.
Yeah,
I think he did it. He did what? No, go ahead.
Okay, so the shadow of the moon sometimes goes over us, sometimes goes under us. We're actually a really small target to the moon, or the moon shadow, okay? So it's no shit, Sherlock, that's going to miss us most of the time. And exactly what Jared just said. Good thing it doesn't say what you're saying it should.
I think what he's doing,
right?
he's just seeing it. What he's just used to seeing, like you see in school, where you got your planets all in a straight line, like you do it on project, and he's not thinking that there's, it's not like that in reality. He's just going by what he sees visually in posters and school projects and all that stuff.
Kindergarten stuff.
The moon
he's sticking with a third, fourth grade thing.
Yeah, basically in his model, you have a perfect plane. Guess what? The moon's orbit is actually tilted by 5 degrees. How did I know this? I fucking Googled it. It literally took 5 seconds.
Okay, let's see what else. I think that
yeah, that's why I'm curious. I mean, anybody who looks into this knows that the moon is not on a perfect plane. It's tilted, as you said, 5 degrees or so. But how is he positing that that's not the case, and that if it's not the case, that this is what we should see?
He doesn't know what positive means, Steve.
Yeah.
I don't understand these. I have a very difficult time getting into the mind of a flat earther, so I don't envy you all.
Total of at least 24 eclipses.
Okay, so you've answered that part pretty much. Let's go to
nodes. It can be proven that if that were true, there would still be a partial eclipse, both lunar.
That's the same thing about the
self-lit
eclipse.
Object. Along with the sun, the
here we go.
System, independent of
100% proof has gone down to about 0 now.
System. The moon
let's go into some Bible. You ready?
Above the flat stationary Earth. The moon has its own light phase system, independent of the Earth or sun. It may be realized that the sun, moon, and Earth do have some type of symbiotic relationship, which we have yet to correctly discover. It appears that those who erroneously consistently...
Okay, so basically, to sum this up without him droning on, the moon is its own light. Because Bible.
It's impossible because it wouldn't create shadows. Light sources don't create their own shadows.
But what about the cold temperatures that the moonlight puts out?
Which is bullshit. Debunked.
Yeah.
It was debunked over a year ago by Astronomy Live. A video also in the description. I'll blackmail Kyle later. Put it.
Okay, and I think that's the last on this video. We've got one more to tackle.
Oh yeah, by the way, because my holy book isn't a valid argument.
Let me just make sure that this isn't...
The Earth is a flat, stationary plane. It always has been and always will be.
Wrong.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Can't be.
Two things. Geodesics and ring laser gyros destroys both of those claims.
Those sound like sex toys.
Yeah.
Okay, here's
the ring gyro.
Bob did get
water systems armed.
Here's the last one, and I did this one especially for Reds because this one I think this is from a different channel, but
this is my forte right here.
They're going to try to in a nutshell take you through a NASA launch and why this is a hoax. Like why what you're seeing is not a real rocket launch. So there'll be some times where I fast forward it just because it's
go from
just the rocket going
start 8, 7, 6.
So they're saying right there is water, not sparks.
Yes. Hang on. Actually, there is a water suppression, and the reason is because the title says it all. Water suppression. They're trying to suppress the sound and also trying to prevent the pad from actually blowing itself apart underneath the badassery that is the space shuttle. All right, keep in mind, you're trying to contain the power of 3 RS-25 engines with 2 strap-on solid rocket boosters, which once on can't be turned fucking off. And yeah, it will beat the shit out of whatever is under it. So they use water to not only cool, but to also prevent the waves that it creates from shaking the entire thing to bits. Because guess what? Launch pads are expensive.
Fake news.
3, 2, 0.
All right, so
and lift off for the final launch of Endeavour. Expanding our knowledge, expanding our lives in space.
Notice that the camera is affixed to the solid booster rocket. This is very important shortly, and as you can probably guess, he's going to make a point that why would they attach the camera to the part that...
Just give all of this to me. Hold on.
We need to make sure we get there. All right, NASA did a launch. Go ahead.
Well, I just want to point out that it's kind of funny that he picked Endeavour because actually the commemorative patch for Endeavour's last mission is one of the ones getting put on the flight jacket. Link to the raffle is in the live chat.
Came full circle. So basically, I'm gonna move forward a little bit until we get to his point about the break here, and then I'm gonna let Reds explain what the deal is with that. Where are you?
Okay.
Here we go. We're waiting. All right, why would NASA put the camera on the rocket booster and not the shuttle?
Okay. First of all, they did put a rocket on the orbiter. Look up videos that have cameras on the orbiter. I'll link it down below for you. Secondly, these are known as engineering cameras. If anything were to go wrong with the booster, either on ascent or descent, they need to be able to have data to figure out what the fuck went wrong. Because here's the thing. When you're dealing with a spacecraft that costs billions of fucking dollars, you want to make sure you have your shit together. So the best way to make sure you have your shit together is to get as much data about each part as possible. And when it comes to the boosters, I don't know about you, but a video camera would be some pretty awesome data to get, to see, what the fuck happens with my boosters that cost a shitload of money.
Well, it's funny that you say that, Riz, because I believe that's how they actually figured out. I'm almost positive that this is correct because I saw a documentary on it, but that's how they figured out what happened with Challenger. There was some kind of video.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, or how they found out, because they saw the heat shielding coming off during launch, and they got it from an external camera.
It was the outside layer of the fuel tank, and that was actually filmed with a tracking camera on the ground. And another thing that they did was that when they were looking at the boosters looking up, they could actually see that piece of foam hit the wing because the boosters actually had that camera angle. They could theoretically look down and see it. But guess what? Guess what they didn't have at that time? This camera angle. They didn't have this camera angle on the booster, because if they actually had that camera angle, they would have seen the gigantic gaping fucking hole that was in the fucking wing. So, we didn't learn our lesson the first time, so let's go ahead and not put a camera there. That's why they put the camera on the rocket booster, because more data is good.
Now, when you're faced with these two choices, people who are watching, and one person is telling you that the reason that this camera is placed where it is because it's a hoax, because it's it's a breakaway, that means that NASA's lying to you, and then the other says, no, it's to make sure that the same mistakes don't happen again that we've made in the past, to double check things. Who can look at those two possibilities and say it's definitely the hoax? I mean, it's definitely the hoax.
Basically, foam smashing into the leading edge. We did not have booster cameras at that time. If we had a booster camera that was able to look straight down from the tip of the booster, we could have seen the gaping hole that was in the leading edge of the wing. And also, if we had a camera looking up, as we did during the last few launches of Space Shuttle, we would be able to see this thing literally obliterate the bottom portion of the wing, because from the ground, you could only get one angle. And that one angle was not enough to determine that there was a serious flaw with that wing, which led to loss of the orbiter and also the crew. For these jackasses to say, are you kidding? No. Are you fucking kidding? We want these cameras there. It's how we make sure that something doesn't go south. And also, just so you know, there are videos on YouTube right now of a camera attached to the orbiter itself, all the way to orbit, all the way to the point where they drop the external fuel tank when they're actually in orbit. So fuck you, dude, for cherry picking.
All right. Any of you guys got anything?
There seems to be a recurrent theme that the people that are positing these hoaxes, and none of them seem to understand any of the material, right? I mean, there's a running thing that none of these people have any education, and there's a reason why they don't understand things, because they don't have the educational background to properly understand these things. These are not the people at NASA and we going out to try to recruit for engineering, right? They're going to be recruiting people like Rez because he wants to study this material. He wants to learn it. He understands it.
But look, Steve,
same
look
thing
at your
with
screen.
the Team Skeptic and Jared. These people understand it because they happen to have a slight background in this stuff. So the people that are positing these hoaxes, of course, they don't understand it because they're idiots.
But look at your screen, Steve. They can draw straight lines. They can draw straight lines.
I don't think they can do that properly half the time.
See? Looks pretty flat to me.
People keep explaining to me that I overestimate flat earthers because I try to give them the benefit of the doubt. Not really. I realize that they're just